Mike Johnson, the Speaker of the House, just passed a bill that gives the soldiers of the IDF, that's the Israeli Defense Force, you now have Israeli Defense Force foreign military receiving United States military benefits. People here can't even afford health insurance, and now they're giving it to a foreign country.
This administration is fully compromised. I noticed as soon as he appointed Marco Rubio, I was like, what is going on here? But then he went and criticized Thomas Massie and called for him to be primaried. That was a huge red flag.
Thomas Massie's introducing a new bill in Congress. It's called the Dual Loyalty Disclosure Act, H.R. 2356. This is to disclose anyone running for political office, especially in Congress, to publicly reveal if they have dual citizenship, which is dual loyalty, with the foreign country. Why do this? Because a lot of our Congress actually has dual citizenship with a foreign country, with one foreign country in particular. And it's no wonder why our Congress is always voting against our own American self-interest and for the favoritism of a foreign country. Now, this act does not make it illegal to be a dual citizen while in politics, because something like that's too much and it'll never pass Congress, which is full of the dual citizens. So this act just exposes them. It forces them to reveal that they have dual citizenship, which with the public knowing about it, it makes it harder for them to win the next time at the ballot box. And they do hide their dual citizenship. They do this to hide their infiltration. So we definitely need this, and Thomas Massie is a hero for it.
I don't want to see an Israeli flag. I want to see single loyalty to the United States of America. Tell me about the Dual Loyalty Disclosure Act.
Yeah, we swear an oath to the Constitution. And the question is, if you're a citizen of two countries, which oath are you taking more seriously? Or can you take them both seriously? Look, I would prefer that people with dual citizen have to renounce their citizenship in the other country before they run. But at a minimum, we should do what the bill I introduced does, which is require candidates for federal office to disclose whether they have dual citizenship and which countries they may have citizenship in. That way, the voters can decide whether they should be able to represent the United States.
Our loyalty should be singular, especially as an elected representative to the United States of America.
People in Congress will stop and ask a simple question. Do you support America or do you support Israel? Here's their answers. Listen.
Do you care more about the American people or Israel as a member of Congress?
I don't think they're mutually exclusive, Frankie.
Mutually exclusive? How's that?
They're our best ally.
Are they? Who do you care about more, the United States or Israel?
No answer.
United States or Israel, sir? No answer? Who do you care about more, the American people or Israel? It's an easy one. American people or Israel?
No answer.
The American people or Israel, sir?
No answer again. And this goes on for 6 minutes. And a no answer is an answer. How is it that they're too scared to even pretend to be pro-American in an American Congress? The government does not care about us and is completely paid off by a foreign government.
The Israeli lobby paid Lindsey Graham over $1 million for one reason: to make sure that whenever there is a conflict between Israel's interest and America's interests, Lindsey Graham is always there to put Israel's interest first.
Any ally, Canada, Britain, Germany, France, if you try to help the ICC, we're going to sanction you. We should crush your economy.
The President of the United States described himself as one lonely little guy compared to the power of the Israel lobby.
I heard today there were something like 1,000 lobbyists on the Hill working the other side of the question. We got one lonely little guy down here doing it.
When Bush actually stood up against the lobby and delayed giving Israel the $10 billion loan guarantees, and AIPAC's President Steiner was recorded saying he helped raise millions of dollars for the candidate who would go on to replace Bush, Bill Clinton.
Each time Benjamin Netanyahu met Bill Clinton. The year was 1996. Arriving at the White House, Netanyahu sits down with President Clinton and begins lecturing him on the Middle East, on Palestine, and the future of Israel. When Netanyahu was finished, he stood up and exited the room before President Clinton had a chance to say a single word. This prompted the president to turn to his advisors with a puzzled face and famously say, "Who the f*** does he think he is? Who's the superpower here?" In reality, the Israeli lobby holds tremendous power over the President of the United States and the U.S. Congress.
And Izzy Media even admits they tried to blackmail Clinton over that. Same article even admits that Izzy tapped the White House phones. You're not doing that sort of stuff unless you got people on the inside. And they got people on the inside. It's not just by money alone that they have a detailed control over all our politicians. They make sure to control all the functions of our government itself.
Ever since Clinton defeated Bush Sr., no American president has ever challenged the billions of dollars we give Israel in foreign aid every year.
We might not have known that every member of Congress has an AIPAC babysitter, to use the phrase of Congressman Thomas Massey on Tucker's show.
By the way, everybody but me has an AIPAC person.
What does that mean, an AIPAC person?
It's like your babysitter, your AIPAC babysitter, who is always talking to you for AIPAC.
Every member has something like this?
I don't know how it works on the Democrat side, but that's how it works on the Republican side.
You think it's a good thing that a foreign government basically has access to every member of the American Congress?
If you live in America, who can't you criticize? That tells you who controls the country. Now, you cannot criticize the power of the Israeli lobby in this country.
One of the biggest lobbying groups in America can openly brag that they are representing a foreign country. This is from AIPAC's website, but somehow they don't have to register under the FARA Act as someone acting on behalf of a foreign actor. Did you know that they were actually this close to having to register as a foreign agent before a certain thing happened? So if you go to this URL right here, israellobby.org/AZCDOJ, it's a history of when AIPAC almost had to register as a foreign agent. And well, it turns out that President John F. Kennedy was about to force them to register under FARA. And back in June and July of 1963, the federal government was nearing a decision requiring the American Zionist Council registering as an agent of the Israeli government. Americans of whatever faith believe firmly that America is their country and America alone. The Zionist lawyer, Mr. Lenvin, advised that public registration would be injurious to the American Zionist Council. And by October of 1963, they were saying things like forms are enclosed for the use of the American Zionist Council in registering under the Foreign Agents Registration Act. But then what happened in November of 1963? The president who was spearheading the whole thing just suddenly wasn't there anymore. I'm just saying it was really convenient timing that it happened to turn out that way. And then in December of 1963, we get this document. As you know, our client is not prepared to register as an agent of foreign principal or to concede that it is subject to the registration requirement. December 11th, 1963. And to this day, is not registered as a foreign actor. Although the U.S. Justice Department clearly states that FARA requires the registration of anyone that represents the interests of the foreign principal before any agency or official of the U.S. government. Because if they were registered, they would have to disclose where all the money's coming from.
The American Israel Public Affairs Committee, AIPAC, represents a concerning example of how intense lobbying can distort the political process in the United States. Its fundraising prowess has enabled it to exert considerable sway over lawmakers and policy decisions.
6 out of 7 members of the task force assigned to declassifying federal secrets actually work for AIPAC. Wow, so that guarantees the only government secrets that are going to be released are going to be non-Izzy related ones, such as how much Izzy bribes and controls our politicians. How much exactly does AIPAC control our politicians? By money. They control our politicians because Izzy controls our media and who they give good press, bad press to, and commercials to.
They try to get me to write a white paper as a candidate, for instance, for Congress. They almost get on what? On Israel, and I wouldn't do it. And they said, why? And I'm like, I don't do homework for lobbyists, right? What did they say? They said, oh, well, here, just copy Rand Paul's term paper and put your name on it. We'll accept that. And I'm like, no, I'm still not cribbing somebody else's homework to do homework. I'm not turning in my homework for you. And what? I mean, you're laughing, but I may be the only Republican in Congress who hasn't done homework for AIPAC. And it's just, what it is, it's conditioning. They want you to do something very simple and benign and, for them. They don't really grade your term paper. They just want to know that you'll do something for them. And if you'll do something for them as a candidate, you're more likely to do something for them as a congressman when you get in there.
Thomas Massey is seriously the most badass politician in Congress today.